Hello and welcome to Slow Academy. Today we'll be talking about audio printing. So, printing in audio production, what does it mean? And how will this benefit you? How will this improve the quality of your mix? Printing in audio production is a process of recapturing a pre-processed streams of audio mix. Okay, now I have a mix here. Okay, these are streams of audio mix, so I have to recapture them. Okay, printing is the process whereby I recapture all this channel into a separate channel. This process can either be analog or digital. Okay, so it is analog if you recapture from series of analog gears routed together, such as your equalizer, your compressor, your mixing console, or any audio signal processor that you might have. So you have to route your signal through this signal processors, okay, and take it back into your interface, then into your DAW. So it is digital if you are recapturing internally from within your DAW. Okay, you are not bringing in your signal through the analog gears, but you are taking back your signal, reprinting it from within your DAW. Okay, you are not printing from taking signal from outside, but you are taking the signal from your DAW. Okay, so how do you print from analog? Before I talk about how to print through analog or digital, I would like you to understand why you need to go through this printing. Okay, so number one is to avoid plugin malfunctioning during export due to heaviness. Sometimes you had different plugins. For example, there are UAD plugins here, there are isotope plugins, okay, and there are some other heavy plugins that you might have used on this project, and due to that, and or due to the capacity of your system, the processing power of your system, these plugins might make your project too heavy for exporting process. Okay, so your plugins begin to malfunction while you are exporting. So it means that your final export might not be as quality as what you are hearing in your DAW. Have you ever noticed that when you export, what you are now hearing is slightly different from what you are hearing when you were in your DAW? Okay, so this can cause it. And number two is to glue your mix together. Okay, now you have different channels in this project. So there are different channels, okay, in this project. You want to glue all these channels together. You want them to sound as one. That is what we mean. You want them to sound together. This printing process will help you to bring your mix together. So number three is to enhance sample rate conversion process, which will tell on the quality of audio that you now export. Okay, so sample rate issues are kind of a complex thing in audio production. When you prepare your mix in 48 and you want to render it, definitely you should know that when you export your project, your export file is no longer accurately in 48 kilohertz. There's a reduction in the quality. That is what we mean. So when you export, each time you export, there is a kind of conversion that occurs, which brings down the quality of your export. Okay, deliberately you might mix in 48 and you want to export in 44 due to one reason or the other, then there's a conversion that occurs. And even when you mix in 48 or 96 kilohertz and you want to export in the same sample rate which you have mixed your project, there is still a kind of conversion that goes on, and this will tend to reduce the quality of your project. These are very kind of complex things. Okay, so you might go into reading more about sample rate. Number 4 is to prevent noticeable shifting due to channel latency caused by plugins. So what I mean is that these plugins actually cause some delay, some latency. You can see in your DAW you will have a kind of function that says track delay in milliseconds. It helps you to compensate all this shifting caused due to your plugin, caused by your plugin on your channel. So have you ever noticed that when you are mixing a project and you add a plugin and there will just be a kind of shift, you will now find out that the audio is not really sitting on the beat, and it was sitting before applying the audio. So the more applying the plugin, I mean, so the more plugins you add, there are some shifting, there are some latency that is applied, and small milliseconds shifting that you might not notice. Okay, this can be elaborated, this can be enhanced during your export, and you find out that you don't really notice this shifting while you are mixing, but when you export your project, you now find out that you started hearing those shifting and you have to go back to your mix and you couldn't hear them. Then you now maybe deliberately now started shifting backward or forward to adjust or compensate this shifting. Okay, so if you have printed this project, you know the project would have been together and there won't be any form of shifting. So that is another thing that you will gain from printing your mix. And lastly, the process will ease your export process. Okay, so it does not because you are not exporting the old channels now as stereo output, you are not exporting them together. You know, your DAW has to go through dealing with the different channels, the plugins applied to these channels and all that. So your plugin, your DAW don't really need to deal with all these plugins again if you are just exporting one channel. Okay, so you are just exporting the print channel alone, which probably you might not even apply any plugin on it. So when you click export, it's export speedily because there's no processing, too much of processing or no processing at all on this single channel that you are exporting. What makes your export takes time is because you have loaded your mix, you have loaded it with sort of lots of plugins that are heavy, some are light, but so during the export process your DAW needs to deal with all these plugins, and sometimes we even want to export in real time. Okay, just to ensure that nothing is being missed out in your mix. Okay, so to avoid all this, it is good that you print or bounce back all this project into a single stereo channel. Okay, so how do you do this? How do you print? We'll first of all talk about the analog printing. Okay, so the analog printing is that the output of your interface now we go into your devices. Okay, we go into your devices. Here I have some compressors, I have virtualizer, I have a sighter, I have ultra curve, I have some analog gears that my audio runs through them, the signal goes through them, and at the end of it you have to take this signal from the end and return them back to your interface. And when you return them back to your interface, it actually goes back into your DAW. Okay, so in your DAW, in the audio configurations, you have the input and you have the output. So under the input, you know, you have routed your signal into your analog gears, and you are now bringing them back into your DAW. So you have to configure your DAW to receive from this channel. Okay, so if I say add bus, so I'm adding a stereo channel. Okay, I'm adding one. So I'm adding and I'm receiving this signal. If I have connected the signal coming from my analog gears, if I've connected them to channel 7 and channel 8. Okay, so I can rename this stereo into as a external signal. Okay, so now my external signal is coming from what? Is coming from channel 7 and channel 8. Okay, so I will now have to create an audio channel, but the audio channel will be a stereo channel. Okay, will be a stereo channel. Then I can name it as print. Okay, print. And where am I receiving the signal? Audio input. I'm receiving it from connect to bus. We have the external signal here. Okay, so this is the external signal we have configured from the audio configuration, the input of our interface into the DAW. So if I select this external signal, so I'm receiving into the stereo audio track I want to create, receiving from external signal, which is my channel 7 and 8, as I have physically routed. So it depends on your physical routing where the cable is being connected on your interface, what channel it is. You might be using 4 channel or 2 channel or 8 channel, so it depends on what interface you are using. Okay, and you are configuring a stereo channel. So when you click on add track, it's going to add that track, and all you need to do is make sure that your sound is good as you are passing the signal through your external gears. Monitor the sound and make sure that the mix you are about to print in, look at the meter and make sure that it's not clipping. Okay, the input signal is not clipping, and you have a good headroom before you start recording on this print channel. So let's talk about the digital printing. Okay, so the digital printing, the first thing you need to do is to create a group and send all your channel into that group. For example, the instrumental channel, you have to create a group. Now I've created a group called output, because initially this channel will be going to stereo out, which is the default. Okay, initially it will be going to stereo out, but you have to create a separate output for it, a separate group or a bus channel. So when you create a bus channel for it, give it a name. For me, I'm putting an output as the name. Then send your instrumental channels, your FS channel, your audio channel, every channels that you have in your project, you have to reroute them to change it from the stereo out and reroute them to your new bus channel or output channel. Okay, so you can see that all these are going into the output channel. Now you might have created some groups. Okay, for example, I have a lead group and all my lead vocals goes into this lead group. So I won't be taking all this out of this group. This goes to the lead bus group. This is the lead bus group, but the lead bus group will now take all of them to my output bus. Okay, takes them to the output bus. So the same way my backup, I've created a bus for my backup, and all these channels are routed to this bus bus, this backup bus, and this backup bus takes them routed to output, takes them to output. So all my FS channels, these are my FS channel, you have to redirect them from the stereo out back to the output bus. Okay, so when I solo this output bus, which should be the overall and aggregate bus for all the channel that I have in my project, instrumental channel, MIDI channel, FS channel, any channel you have. So when you solo it, you can see that everything is connected, properly connected to what? To this output bus. So when that is done, when you receive signal from this output now, and you receive it into this audio stereo channel that you have created, you can see the input now is output, this bus channel that everything is routed into. So you set it as your new input now. Okay, so this output signal is going into this print. All right, so now all you need to do is to activate your record and record everything that is going on in this project. Okay, so I won't be playing loud or because of a license issue on the song, you know, your iTunes, Spotify and all that. So I just want to show you the process of the printing. All right, so now I'm going to press my record and I will be printing all this into this channel. Okay, now it's printing. It's printing now. Okay, it's printing now. So everything I have in my project is now coming into this track. Okay, so if you check your the output or your input into this print, you can see the output, you can see the headroom is -3.9, which is very good. So you ensure that this is not clipping. Okay, make sure you have a good headroom coming into the print channel. All right, so I have my print now. So this print is what I need to export. All right, so I won't be exporting everything in this project. Everything I have in this project is now here. Okay, so I want to solo this track or just export the track depending on the DAW that you are using. So I'm going to be exporting audio mix down, so I can go to multiple here and select just this track to be this print track to be export. Okay, and I can just do a mix down as long as I have soloed the print channel, which any way that you feel comfortable exporting as. So I can go through the multiple and just select the print. So I just want the print channel to be export. So to be a man mix, then I'm exporting in wave 48 kilohertz 24 bit because I'm still going to be mastering this mix. Then I'm exporting. Thank you for staying tuned to the end of the lecture. This is Slow Academy, running from Slow Studio. If you find this video helpful, please give it a thumb up, drop comments under this video if you have any question, and try to share it to your friends to benefit from this too. And remember to subscribe to our channel. See you in the next lecture. Bye.